All right. I hope this thing is on because it is on. Okay, good. So everybody, welcome to the Basic Learning Experience. You know who this ginger face is. This is your host with the most that looks like a ghost, Elliot,
Yeah.
and I am joined by my colleagues of nerddom. I'm joined by Andres, Ken, and Jose. So if you guys will say hello.
Hello there. No, Andres, you have to do hello there because you have the whole beard now. You have to do hello there.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Hello there.
There you go.
General
Yo,
Kenobi.
General
yeah, yeah,
Kenobi.
yeah.
hello there.
Kenobi.
General Kenobi.
The bold one.
Oh my god,
So
y'all are.
so the whole point of today is we're gonna do a kind of been a year since we've talked about we talked about the Star Wars fandom. I mean we've done stuff about Disney Plus and all that jazz, but it's been a year since the four of us. I mean we've had like a whole Suicide Squad of people talking about all nine films, specifically with Jose, aka I missed the Parasite. Um, Back at it. But I really wanted us to talk about Jose. You don't remember the Parasite?
The parasite?
It's
Oh yeah, it. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So I
I was
thought
tired.
kind of good for us to talk about the movies since it's been a while, and I have some new opinions on the movies. But we have to talk about all about the movies, but whatever fits the mood. I figure we talk about it and go from there, seeing how how Disney is handling Star Wars and all that jazz. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys want to do?
Well, I
Ah,
mean,
I mean, like Andres said before we started this video, we just talk about straight up like Star Wars, and see where we go from there. Our opinions on the movies and the ones that came out, Mandalorian, what's to come of the new shows of Ahsoka and the Book of Boba Fett, and see where in the direction that Disney's taking Star Wars now,
Hmm. Yeah.
especially under like the new management or somewhat management of John Favreau.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
true.
true. That's a really good idea.
So
Mm-hmm. Give the guy who started the Marvel Cinematic Universe the reins to Star Wars, basically.
Yeah,
pretty
let's
much, yeah, because like, he didn't make Iron Man. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He started it all, man. He was basically in charge of it in the beginning.
And then Kevin
True.
Feige was like, "Bitch, this is my job."
Yeah. Let me
Well,
Kathleen, let me show you how it's done, okay? This is how you do it.
oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's gonna change. It's gonna change a lot. I wonder when we're gonna see Star Wars movies again though, because it doesn't seem like we're gonna get a movie anytime soon.
You got a point. Like the last, like, the how do you say, period between movies, the prequels and the sequels was 10 years, exactly 10 years, like, who knows, maybe we'll do it in another 10, maybe 15 years, or maybe 19 years between, original and prequel.
No, that's true.
I think it'll be less personally. I think that they realized that doing or was it five? Yeah, five movies in a row is a lot. I don't know. I think that they're gonna come up with something really soon, but I don't know when Rogue Squadron. I'm sure that they're probably doing scripts right now for that, but
Oh, I pray for Rogue Squadron after not after Wonder Woman 1984 happened because Rogue Squadron is being made by Patty Jenkins and like I love Patty Jenkins, I really do, and but like 1984 was terrible.
Yeah. And after Wonder Woman, I had high hopes for, this director, but I realized that I looked a little bit more into it, and apparently Wonder Woman, the first one, right? It was like the script was written by Patty Jenkins and some other person, but that some other person was, I don't know, they left, and the prime script writing was left to Patty Jenkins herself. And if 1984 is a flex of her full-time skills, I mean, I don't know. I like to keep up hope, but hopefully Rogue Squadron ends up being something good, something that turns out like a profit and is successful and not bad.
I mean, also in the factor of like now the Star Wars are making a show on the Bad Batch. I'm not sure if it's a show or animated movie, but the Bad Batch is coming out.
True. True.
Yeah, no, but
Like
that's what's his name again? The guy who created the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I forget
Dave
his name.
Oh, Dave
Dave
Filoni.
Filoni.
Yeah, that's Filoni, and I think Filoni has proven himself more than capable of carrying the legacy of the animated Star Wars content.
Yeah.
Actually,
Have Filoni and Favreau make a Star Wars movie. That's all I want.
actually, it was really funny because in the first season of The Mandalorian, Dave Filoni had, in my opinion, the worst episode in the first season of The Mandalorian. It was from, in my opinion, it was the worst episode of the first season. His episode in the first season was the one where they had to go after the assassin lady in the desert, and he had that, no offense to the whoever that kid was who was acting, terrible actor with him the entire time. It was not a good episode.
Oh, I know what you're talking
I hated it. But then in the second season of The Mandalorian, Dave Filoni had, in my opinion, the best episode, which was the one with Ahsoka,
Oh
which was
yeah.
that was for me the best episode out of the entire second season. I was like, okay, so you got a lot better, obviously.
You sound exactly
Um,
like Chris Stuckman because he said the same exact thing.
but now
No, like I'm serious. Like
No,
I
it's just funny. You guys sound. I'm not saying you plagiarize him, but you're not a poser according to Jonathan. But it's I know that it was just funny. Like, but that's interesting. A good point you made.
I have to
no.
ask y'all. Out of all these shows we see of like live action animated, how do you guys feel about the new Obi-Wan Kenobi show coming out, especially with the recasting of Ian McGregor? Ian McGregor? No. Sorry, my brain took a whole brain fart. Of Obi-Wan
Take two.
Kenobi. Thank you. Take two. Of Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker returning.
Darth Vader. Darth
Yeah.
I
Vader.
am a day one. I am a day one bitch for that. I'm gonna watch that opening day night.
I'm gonna give Hayden Christensen
The benefit of the
the
doubt.
Should
the
hate
benefit of the
it.
doubt, and I'm gonna say that the reason why Hayden was really bad in the prequels was because George Lucas does not know how to direct. Um,
Well,
I'm gonna say that
oh
that was the
yeah.
reason, and I'm really hoping that that's the reason. I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna give him a chance. It is. I have to admit, it is nostalgic because as much as I don't like the prequels, I grew up with the prequels, so it is nostalgic to see him playing Anakin again.
Or Vader, if you would. Yeah,
I know, but
Anakin's Vader. Yeah, it's the
he's
same thing.
still reprising the role.
I
Yeah,
am
no, I know.
hoping for flashback scenes where it's like stuff that we wanted to see. Because I think in episode 2, like realizing now when I rewatched it, I really wanted more of like Obi-Wan and Anakin, like live action between the two.
Yeah.
We have it in
That
like
is
episode 3, but it was just because the carrying on the main events of Star Wars. But I would like
that
to
is
see
for me.
like I would like to see like an episode or two or like a flat or just even like a few scenes of flashbacks where like it's like the business between Kate and Nemonia and like stuff like that. Like what happened? I mean obviously there was a Clone Wars, but I want to see like with Thick Boy and Christian Haydenson side by side.
That is for me one of the worst parts of the prequels, that you rarely ever get to see Obi-Wan and Anakin together, and then you're supposed to believe that they're like brothers. It's like, but you don't really see them together. It took Clone Wars to fix that.
Yeah.
Like, because Clone Wars was where all of those adventures that they were talking about, like you saw it. And so I was just like,
I feel like
"Man."
that's also why Star Wars succeeds more in the show aspect of things instead of the movie because there's more character development throughout the shows than there is in movies. Hence Mandalorian, um, hence the Clone Wars, hence Rebels, and now we're gonna see Boba Fett, and now we're gonna see Ahsoka Tano. How things have
Yeah,
changed.
there's no denying that when you're writing a TV show versus when you're writing a movie, when you're writing a TV show, you have 10, 15, 20 episodes, and each episode is what, 30 minutes to an hour long. You have so much more time to flesh things out and show things, and in a movie you have only what, 2 hours, so you gotta make your point in 2 hours. But I personally think that it's just that for both, I think that the prequels, I think that the prequels were that George Lucas got a little too over ambitious with what he wanted, and then the sequels was just laziness. Like the sequels was just like, we're gonna be very lazy and we're not going to storyboard anything, and we're just gonna be like, yeah, you new director, you carry the story wherever you want. And it's like, I mean, I like Last Jedi, but come on, really? Come on, really? Come on.
Did you guys see that a new article that Ryan Johnson wants to direct an episode of The Mandalorian?
I
Oh
saw.
yeah. Ironically, that episode was good. I like that episode. What wasn't it the episode where Mando and the mother of these fish tentacle porno things were trapped under a glacier of ice, right?
Yes, that
And
was
they
No,
his.
no,
escaped
no.
fire.
Ryan Johnson, he hasn't directed one yet. He wants to though.
Oh, okay. Well, if he wants to, like, maybe he wants to, take steps in the right direction. I mean, after The Last Jedi and I seeing Knives Out and seeing an improvement over subverting expectations, I mean, I can't wait to see what he does next. But hell, if he directs a Mandalorian episode, okay. I'm
I thought
curious about it because wow, it'd be cool. Huh?
Last Jedi is a weird. It is a very weird movie. You know,
Now,
in
let me ask you.
retrospect.
Let me ask you. I saw you keep taking the point in this fucking episode, but let me ask you. With Star Wars going forward, what character do you guys want to see the most that has been introduced yet in the Star Wars universe?
Meaning, like canon or like because
What
a
what
loaded
character do you
question.
want to see made canon into the Star Wars universe? Into
Revan.
Revan.
Braun.
You have so much potential. You have so much shit you could do with Revan.
Jedi Master
True.
Bob.
Do you guys want Revan? Now, who would you guys cast as Revan?
Tom Hardy.
Tom.
Sexy Venom
Boy.
himself as
Boy,
Revan.
boy, Mike.
Oh, I thought you said Tom Arnold.
Boy, Mike. We're gonna be fighting today.
For me, I'm taking Keanu.
No, no.
Keanu. Hey,
I just
hey, I have two things for Revan. If it's an older Revan, I'm taking Keanu. But if it's a younger Revan, I'm actually taking fuck, what's his name? I knew it. Remember his a movie I had. The guy from Avatar, from Call of Duty, Jake.
Sam
Something.
Worthington.
Same Worthington. Thank you.
Yeah, that
I
guy.
want-
That guy.
I can see him. I can see him more as a Revan. Yeah.
I want him as a young Revan. Guys, remember, yes, Sam Worthington is an older actor, but he still looks young.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the guy has a surprising amount of range. Like if
does.
you look at movies like Attack of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans, Avatar, and Man on a Ledge, it doesn't seem like much. But then you look at movies like Ridge, where he plays this Australian surfer. I had no idea that the guy was there until the credits actually rolled up, and it's just like, oh shit, this guy's good, and like he's got that aggressive sort of powerhouse performance that I think Revan needs in a mainline Star Wars canon event. You know what I'm saying?
Have I this is off topic, but from Sam Worthington, have either of you seen The Titan or Titan with him in it?
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen
Yeah,
it.
it's okay.
That to me is one of in my opinion one of the most interesting films that he has made.
So which
Mhm.
one?
The Titan or Titan. It's on Netflix, but that movie is kind of like he's like kind of this kind of like Avatar in a sense, where like he's kind of this survivor, or he was kind of chosen for this role to be an experiment.
Hmm.
And towards the end, like not spoiling, but towards the end, you start seeing his
Spoilers.
range of acting, of how he can be from being this human to becoming something else entirely.
Hmm.
So
That-
so it's his range. That's like, and then there's a point in the movie, like not spoiling anything, but there's a point in the movie where you don't see him talk at all, but you could see and you could feel his character, and that to me is great. Because
Hmm.
to be a good actor, in a sense, because like people can act, say words, and movies show emotion, but I've only seen 2 movies where this is done, where you barely speak, but you feel the emotion and you feel the presence of that character, and that's only been done, in my opinion, in 2 movies. One, Mad Max Fury Road with Tom Hardy. He barely speaks, but again, you know this man's going in for it.
Hmm.
And 2, this movie.
And you feel like he can bring that same sort of rage towards Darth Revan?
To Revan, most definitely. Especially, think about also, he has the same range, or in fact similar to it, because we see him in the Call of Duty games all the damn time. How he is as Mason, Alex Mason. And you see how angry he gets. You see his emotion. Imagine if you see that kind of character as Revan, especially going on the character who's been Star Killer, in the previous, because the guy who voices Star Killer, what's his name? I forget. Sorry.
And Whitwer.
Sam Witwer.
Yes, who also voices Darth Maul.
Who is also
Darth
Maul now.
Maul. Yeah,
Who was also Emperor Palpatine.
also Palpatine.
And Palpatine.
So pretty much, if he would take notes from this guy and it kind of improve on the character of Star Wars, I think he could be a perfect fit. Personally,
Yeah, definitely. I would honestly. A lot of people don't want this, but I want to see more future stuff. Like obviously don't focus on the it's okay. The Skywalkers are done. Just sweep it under the rug. It's
Yeah,
forget it.
no
Ever.
Skywalker. None of that.
Yeah, not the
No,
Rey
honestly-
Skywalker, the regular Skywalker.
Honestly, like I would like to see the future of that. I would like to see the future. I want to see like, where could it possibly go from here? Because it's it's like, oh yeah, the dark side's over. It's not over. The dark side is never done. Like there's Sith everywhere. I would like to see, and it would be a chance for writers to kind of save Rey and Finn.
Yeah.
I would love to see something like that. I would love to see like not the continuation of the Skywalker saga, but like the continuation of just everything moving forward.
Does
Yeah,
the Lego Star Wars
I
Christmas
wanna-
special? Does the Lego Star Wars Christmas special count? Because to me it does.
No.
People, damn it.
I want to see more development with Finn. Really, like Finn was one of the more interesting characters of the sequel trilogy, and like in the first one, I think it still holds up, but I don't know. Compared to the second and third one, the role that he had in the first one was something that legit I've never seen in a Star Wars movie before, and I was pissed off that he was just cast to the wayside in replacement of what was to come, and I think Finn was heavily sidetracked there. I want more stuff from Finn because that's an interesting angle to face Star Wars with.
pretty much, I compare the John Boyega situation to similar to the Ray Fisher situation in Justice League.
Oh, that's an interesting thing to bring up. That's true. Yeah, but
I compare John Boyega's situation in the Star Wars movies with like the actors and everyone else, or not actors, but the directors themselves, comparing Ray Fisher to Justice League when Joss Whedon was directing.
yeah, the Justice League. That's what I'm calling it.
Justice League.
Justice
League. We'll have to talk about that one later.
Hell yeah.
Yo, all right. I gotta finish Snyder Cut. Then we gotta make an episode about the Snyder Cut.
Yes, you do, my
I'm
friend.
down.
It has been
There's
out
like-
for how long now? You haven't
There's
finished
like
it?
5 hours worth of talking points on that one.
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic.
Condensed into
But-
one BNE episode, man. I don't think
Oh my
I don't
God.
think we're gonna have to split that one up into two
We have
parts or
we have our own. We have our B&E cut of the Snyder cut.
something. No, yeah.
Except
the
it won't
words-
be edited by Elliot. It'll be edited by Brandon.
And in the words of a set character from the movie, which I won't spoil who it is because Ali hasn't seen it yet, but says Jose and Andres have seen it, they'll get the reference. We must use the old ways.
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
my
No, that
God.
shit was insane.
We must use the old ways.
But yeah, I love Last Jedi. I do, but I will admit that that certain characters got wasted completely in that movie. Like it's such a weird movie for me because the primary plot of the film, which is the Luke Kylo Ray stuff, I personally I super enjoy that. I was like, I'm 100% here for that. I love that. But then when it came to the secondary plot, which was the whole Finn Rose going to a really dumb casino planet, meeting Benicio del Toro's character, and then at the end they don't do anything, and then it's like, why did you even do all of this? And then it just kind of leads into nothing. I thought that that was really dumb. I thought that that was like, wow, that was a waste of just an hour of movie right there. But I loved everything else, and that's why I still think Last Jedi is like pretty good.
I got you. I mean, I personally hate The Last Jedi, but I do think that it comes with a certain set of benefits to it. I mean, like what I referred to as the Ray Kylo FaceTime call. I think that was a really good way to introduce. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's a really good way to introduce what's called the Force dyad, which was a really interesting idea.
No,
And
because you can't, you don't lie to me, Andres, and tell me that like the ending of Last Jedi, like where it ended off and where somebody could have taken the story, don't tell me that that would have been like, that's not a cool setup for a really great like third act. Like you have Rey and the Resistance literally losing the battle. They have barely anybody, and you have now Kylo as the supreme leader of the First Order, and you have the Force dyad and all that kind of stuff. Like the setup was there for something that could have been a really good final film, but we're not gonna talk about Rise of Skywalker because that's a movie that's a movie that I can destroy here and now if I have the power.
let's
Or you
let's
know,
unite and destroy that movie. But before we do, it's just that The Last Jedi, the most recent time that I watched it was literally last week. Like I was free on a weekend and I just decided to put it on. And like, The Last Jedi's ending is so flaccid to me because, like, you know, more like a good chunk, a major part of the the resistance, right, has been wiped clean. Like it's dead, you know. And now more than like a dozen or so rebels are on the Millennium Falcon, and no one seems to be mourning. Everyone's just like, yeah, brushing. It's all good. Hi, I'm Ray. Hi, I'm Poe. Nice to meet you. Let's have sex. No, I'm good. And you know,
Oh, that was sex, yeah.
yeah, no.
I just, are you reading your fan fiction again?
yeah, it's nice. But regardless of that, I struggle to find that point where I'm just like, I'm supposed to feel bad for somebody because of what they lost. And I found myself feeling bad for Kylo, ironically.
But that's the point. That's
His
the
performance,
point.
but I don't think it was for the reason that Rian Johnson intended. I just wanted to feel bad for someone who lost something, and it was Kylo, even though his performance was kind of hammy at the end. Like you see this guy slowly starting to like manipulate Rey into, you know, hey, you'll turn. I know you will. And I'm just like, oh, this guy, he's playing Rey. Okay, this is good. I like this. But then like the hallway scene, the red hallway scene comes in, and then Kylo starts to lose his composure. He says, no, you're still holding on. I'm just like, okay, calm down. You had to come on. And then
I really like that though. That for me was really good because it was, you know, a lot of people like to throw the whole the at Rian Johnson, let the past die, kill it if you have to. But the whole point of that line is that you're not supposed to trust him, because obviously what Rian Johnson was trying to do was make Kylo the villain. I mean, that's what I got from Last Jedi. Last Jedi was supposed to be the confirmation of like Kylo is the villain. Like that's what he is. He could have joined Rey in the light, but he didn't. At the very end, he was like, nope, the First Order is mine. And that. So yes, like the whole like Kylo keeps saying kill the past, let it die, but you're not supposed to trust that. The villain is the one saying that, and you're not supposed to trust the villain of the story, even though Kylo does have, you know, a very good progression, has probably the best progression of character in the entire trilogy. I think that it would have been really cool if Kylo was the villain of the story in the end, because I really hated how this fucking trilogy was just like, he's good, he's bad, he's good, he's bad, he's good.
Yeah, and I don't like the premature ejaculation that came from that back and forth with Kylo Ren's character. It just makes it feel like it was disrespected a little bit. And you know, I kind of felt that in The Last Jedi, especially at the end. And don't get me wrong, I laughed sometimes. I'm just like, Lucas, like, I failed you, Ben. I'm sorry. When it was about to become really serious, and I was like, okay. And he's like, I'm sure you are. I was saying, okay. But like that end fight, I used to hate it back in the day, but now I hate it slightly less because the lightsabers don't clash. That doesn't really bother me because the whole point of the lightsabers isn't the flashiness, like it's the meaning behind it. And there wasn't enough setup, in my opinion, to warrant a kind of emotional back and forth between Luke and Kylo in the lightsaber fight. That's what really, left me hanging a little bit.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like first regarding the lightsaber battles, let's discuss the elephant in the room. In my opinion, one of the worst lightsaber battles in the Star Wars franchise has to be the one where Kylo Ren and Rey fight the guards.
Yeah,
I
have.
That to me is one of the worst Star Wars. I'm sorry for someone who is
Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader and New Hope is the worst Star Wars battle.
Nah, I don't agree.
I'm sorry, dude.
That had
I agree with Elliot.
Nah,
I understand, but that fight, I do understand why it was bad. It's the first movie. They didn't have as much funding. It wasn't really like, oh yeah, let's make, but
again, look,
the emotion of the series where it's like we made it last, and then we see like, I get it, like Jose made a good point, but it's just like it's like
again, what's it called? Back then, also, what's you said that you don't know as well is that back then they didn't really use the sabers, for the fights on all the hell was the handle. So literally,
I know.
The fucking virtual, not the virtual, the artists.
Yeah, they didn't have they didn't have the money. It was the first movie, so that's why I give that one a pass. I give it a pass.
No,
also,
but it's just also
in a sense
when we watch it all, like the movies, it's not their fault. Obviously, it's it barely was successful. I mean, like the editing is what saved Star Wars, and because of it became a thing. But I don't know. As a kid, we seen all of it, or like over time, and then it's just I laugh because it's like we see that Duel of the Fates, then we see Revenge of the Sith, we see like 5 different lightsaber battles
For me,
and then we see like this, and it's just it's kind of funny because like the emotion is kind of there, but then I just it kind of loses it. It's not intentional. It's just
what's funny is that the visual effects from Star Wars when regarding Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan, from Vader to Luke, literally has the exact same visual effects errors, but the fight's more meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy because like if you would rewatch the fight between Luke and Vader, you will clearly see now the unevenness between the saber and the light itself. Same thing regarding the Obi-Wan and Vader fight.
I don't think I just think it's the choreography that throws me off.
Same
for me.
It's the same thing because for one,
it's not the same though. It's not.
To me personally, I'm sorry, but the thing that Luke does, the majority is like, I kind of compare. Yes, he's an experience as using a light. He's an experience and didn't train as much as Rey or as Luke did back to Mandalorian. He wasn't as trained, but the majority you see him, they're like, they're like.
Well, because he had no lightsaber training because he wasn't ready. That's why. It was based on emotion, and he was just angry, and it made sense.
For me, if I'm gonna talk about the worst lightsaber fight, I have to give it to Attack of the Clones when Anakin and what's his name? Oh my god, and Count Dooku are fighting, and I hate that sequence so much because I don't know who decided to make it like super close up, and then literally they're just like,
no, yeah.
And then literally like you just see them doing like this, like George Lucas was like, all right, I want you to look past the camera super seriously. I want you to wave your sword, and we're gonna make it look like you're fighting. It was so bad. I was like, what?
To me,
and the worst part is that literally not even a few minutes later, you have a pretty decent fight scene with Yoda going, ah! like you have like this. So it's like, who? Why?
And see, to
What
me,
is this?
I don't know. See, to me, also, why I hate the fucking I think it was Last Jedi or Force Awakens. Sorry, Last Jedi fight scene in the versus like the Red Guards was because it is horribly choreographed.
It's not horribly choreographed,
Yeah.
but yes, there are moments. But honestly, you have to really be looking for those errors. You have to really be like,
No,
like
no, no, no,
focusing as
no,
hard
no,
as you
sorry.
can.
There
You
were
Yeah.
have
two
to.
moments
There is a
that were
fucker in the beginning of the fight. They're
shoved in
like,
your
all right,
face where it
twist
was
around.
choreographed,
What's
like that
good? I'm like,
Praetorian
what
guard
the
stopping
hell?
whenever you.
Yeah, no, like yeah,
Wait,
like
wait,
there
wait,
are
wait.
errors.
Ken, say we're gonna say, then Andres, then Jose.
All right.
Yeah.
So I watched this, I watched videos on the Corridor Crew. Not sure if you,
Yeah, I knew you were gonna pull them up. Yeah, I knew.
yeah. So yeah, you know,
Stuntman react. Yeah.
yeah. Something reacted, and I saw a stuntman from the movie. Literally said this, and as a Star Wars fan, this shit was horrible. You know, everyone
He doesn't
was
say that.
no,
He
no,
doesn't
no,
say
no,
that.
no, 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 sorry, not horrible. Like he said, like
It
he,
could have been better.
it
It
could have been
definitely
a
could.
lot better, but the fact that like they were doing too much, either Daisy really or the people were literally late on their reactions. The people doing some extra things. There's even a scene where I think it was Daisy Ridley's character Ray who does one kick to three people and they all go flying.
Yeah.
I'm
I
here
could,
like, what? And during the beginning of the fight, there's this guy literally doing a whole 360 with his spear, like, all right, what's good? I'm like, what are you doing?
It's. I mean,
you want to know like something weird about that is that I remember in my second viewing I noticed that the choreography was a little bit off. Not because it was sloppy. No, it was really well done. It's just that it was too clean. It was too tight, and I did notice those two things that Ken is talking about on my second viewing because it was too clean. There was a Praetorian guard that was waiting and then to attack. Like I wanted to chalk that up to okay, training from the Praetorian guards. Okay, that could be something nice. But I don't know. The more I looked at it, the more it just seemed staged to me. I didn't feel that immersion as much.
And
It
there,
also it just there's too many of them. They really only needed like a certain amount. Like to me, it was just an overkill. That's what really killed it. Because if it wasn't for that many people,
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry, I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
I have
sure.
I have no problem with the amount of people in socials they were. The one thing that bothered me, and like the guy said in the Corridor Crew, Summon React, was an effect of like all right, wait for Jose to get back that way.
I'm good. I'm here.
Good. Okay.
You good? All right, cool.
So yeah, so like the one thing that kind of like could have made it a lot better was that instead of it just being straight, sword fighting, fencing, was show us some force powers. Show them that convince me that these two are more powerful enough to take on these guards.
Well, that's the thing about that fight. That's the thing about that fight that's actually really interesting that I really like. And yes, it does have a few mistakes. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, there are a few moments, but the whole point of that fight was that, and this is something that I really didn't like from The Force Awakens, was that in The Force Awakens, when Kylo and Rey fight, and then Rey has Rey has her moment where she's like, I am one with the Force. And then she just starts to beat the living shit out of Kylo out of nowhere. And then I know Star Wars. Star Wars is a franchise where it's like, if I believe in myself, I can do this. It's like, that's always been Star Wars. And if you say no, you're lying to yourself. But
No.
it really was kind of jarring because it's like, wasn't Kylo like trained already with the lightsaber, and doesn't he have some training already? He can also use the Force better than her. Like, I understand that he has an injury here, but like, I don't think he should be losing this badly to her. Yeah, I don't think he should be losing like that. Like, because after that moment, Rey just out of nowhere is like, like Luke versus Vader in Return of the Jedi. Like, it was just bad. So in that moment, the Praetorian fight scene is that Rey can't. The whole point of that fight is that Rey cannot handle the Praetorian guards, and that's what I really liked about that scene. It puts Rey back into her place, which was what we needed. Because if you watch the fight, Rey is constantly getting her ass beat. She's trying her best to like fight the guards, but they continue to one up her. The only person who's holding his own against them is Kylo.
Kylo.
And Kylo is actually the one who ends up saving Rey a few times in that fight. So that's what I really liked about that fight. Like, yes, I know it has a few moments where it's like that was a little awkward, or why did you do a twirly in the back, or why didn't all three of you just attack them on the spot? But then at the same
At
time,
the
I
same
also
time, exactly.
remember,
At the same time, because
yeah, but then at the same time, I also remember Revenge of the Sith, that really dumb moment when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting, and they're just yeah, it's like, one of you could have literally just like stabbed each other right there and you could have won the fight. Like,
That's more just a prediction of 50 moves for each one of the other one, predicting like their moves at the same time. I can
listen, man.
I can buy it. I can buy it mostly because like I think in Revenge of the Sith, George Lucas
George
actually
Lopez.
realized that
I'm sorry.
he realized that there needed to be more experience shown between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and I think that beginning star battle with General Grievous, I think that was a good starting point to let them know that these two can work really well together, and it really gave off a vibe that these two did train together, and you get to have these vibes where okay, these guys, they must have trained together, like sword fighting, all that jazz, So when that moment comes, when they're doing this little light show technique, like I think I see it as them trying to predict each other's movements. I didn't find anything like that took me out of
Listen,
the moment.
I'm not saying that I'm an expert in sword fighting, because I'm not, but
Name
I
me.
had a little bit of martial arts training when I was younger, and I had to learn how to use the katana for like 3 or 4 forms of mine. And when learning the way of the katana, when learning the katana, they were saying that like the whole point of sword fighting is that it's all about being as efficient and as quick as possible, because these blades are actually really heavy, and so it actually does take a much more amount of force and power to block and hit and remain in a ready stance than you actually would believe. And considering the fact that George Lucas's main inspiration for Star Wars and for the lightsabers was the way of the samurai and everything. He literally calls it like, oh, this is my Western in space. He literally says that. There's so many moments in the prequel trilogy where it's just like, why would you do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense in a sword fight. Or why, like, it was 3 whole seconds of them just twirling the sword at each other, and you're watching that moment and you're like, you could literally just poke and you would win the fight right then and there. Like Obi-Wan, just poke him, just poke the sword, just poke right at him, and you'll poke his leg. He won't see it coming. He's too busy doing this shit. I was like, Star Wars is a franchise that has had a lot of mistakes, is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's really not one movie in the entire series or TV show in the entire series that hasn't had like those mistakes. It's make believe. You know what I mean? It's make.
Yes.
We're supposed to believe that these people are wielding 1 million degree heat swords and can telekinetically move each other.
Yeah, and like no matter how much training they go through, it's all based on a suspension of disbelief, if you ask me. Like, as long as you can buy into what the universe is selling you, you're still in. You can still buy it. It's just that everyone's suspension is a little bit different depending on who you ask. I mean, yours and mine are obviously different because we have different opinions of the movie of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I don't know how.
Like, I think one of the worst fights as well, like, is the Mace Windu Palpatine fight.
Oh my god,
was hilarious.
I love you. I love you, Ian. I love you, Ian. I love you, but yeah, they should have never given you a lightsaber to fight with. It's painfully apparent that they were using editing to hide some really bad choreography.
Yeah, and,
I
you
mean,
know,
like,
when Mace, but don't lie, it starts off really awesome. Like when Mace
Yeah.
Dooku pulls out his lightsaber, and it's just like, in the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor. You know,
Oh no, it's
that's
a cool thing. I'm kind of pissed off that Kit Fisto gets done really fucking dirty.
my
yeah.
boy.
He
They
gets
done
he gets
they done my Jamaican green boy dirty, man.
it's so
No,
jarringly bad. It's so jarring because especially if you watch Clone Wars, because in Clone Wars, Kit Fisto has like 2 episodes where he goes up against Grievous and then he does other things, and you want me to believe that he can't even last 30 seconds against like
Boba
I
Fett?
understand. Yeah, exactly. Like, I understand that this is Palpatine, but it's like, come on, give him 30 seconds to fight. Like, just let him do something.
I know it's just
Let's
Yeah.
see.
it's just like that's all.
no.
Yeah.
I swear. You know what's funny is that Boba Fett had more lines in the entire movie series than Kit Fisto had.
Yeah. Well, Kit Fisto probably wasn't really a character until Clone Wars became a thing. If
Yeah,
I'm not
no.
being-
The only
I-
two lines I
even
can
even
really think of, the only two lines I can think of by Ken Fisto is where they first put
Yeah.
yeah, even in Attack of the Clones, like you could tell that this guy was skilled, man. He had some charm to him. He was smiling at the end. You know, that was funny.
Can we talk
Like,
about how
Mhm.
weird he was? Like for the first one, he was like, all right, he's a smiling dude, like yeah, he's green and all that shit. Then the third one, he had some vampire teeth. Like he watched too much Twilight, in my opinion. Then he looked uglier. Not he wasn't ugly. Well, I don't know if anybody.
But
I don't
yeah.
Is there
Take
something
two.
you're not? Is there something
It's
you
okay,
want to
though.
tell us?
It's okay though,
Kid
because
Fisto
all
looked
of
better
us.
in Clone Wars. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. All of us, it's okay though, because all of us who disagree on the first 2 films of the sequel trilogy, especially The Last Jedi, I think we can all find solace and we can all find mutual understanding in our seething hatred for the rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah. There was, in my opinion, only one good scene in that entire movie.
Oh, I would argue that there's no good scene in that entire movie.
No. I would say one. And the only thing I found to me in that movie that was like, yes. The
What
only-
was it?
If I can remember correctly about how shit that movie was.
You don't remember the one scene you like?
I would have to say of how funny it was seeing the way that fucking they brought fucking horses on the fucking
Oh
ship.
yeah, that was.
I mean,
that was-
it was. I liked it, but it
I'll
just
give
didn't
JJ.
make much sense.
Yeah, I'll give JJ Abrams this. He makes really good looking movies. Like
Yeah,
his
it
movies
does. It
always
looks
his movies
flash.
always look amazing. Like aesthetically, Rise of Skywalker was like insane.
But they
That's
could have
final.
just
agree.
the Star Destroyer could just went
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then, like
Exactly.
that's it.
But
Just
then
built the ship.
yeah, but just like from all angles, plot, characters, everything, Rise of Skywalker did everything wrong.
Well,
I think
also like the one scene I found also good was Kylo Ren and Rey, or Kylo Ren facing off the fucking Black Knights. No, sorry, the Knights of Ren. Knights of Ren, thank you. Again, they were too easily killed, but the way Ren was like, "Let's go," like like his dad was. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. That callback was all right. I mean, but here's the thing: the Rise of Skywalker just screams damage control. You know, like for people who hated The Last Jedi, it's a smack in the face because it's so obvious what they're trying to do. And for people who love The Last Jedi, it's a spit in the face because they backtrack on a lot of ridiculous things that didn't like. I would have had more respect for this movie if they just continued with what Ryan Johnson was doing.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
had a
because
plan in the future. Or sorry,
like I
in the
said,
past.
like I said, man, like I like hate Last Jedi all you want, but I feel like the ending of The Last Jedi, like the implications of it, you could have set up a really interesting third final act through those circumstances. You could have had like a baller ending with that setup, but the Rise of Skywalker feels like a retcon and a sequel at the same time.
Are you talking about when the kid was like the kid
Yeah, I read somewhere.
no, yeah.
I read somewhere that one of the ideas that was being explored when this was after Last Jedi came out and we were all speculating about what the final movie was going to be about. And
Yeah.
I read somewhere that one of the ideas was that Rey and Kylo had to find that kid, and they had to kind of see who was going to get to him first and who was going to train him and all that kind of stuff, and that
Oh,
this kid was going to be very important. And I kind of like that. I was like, oh, a race against time, or maybe the kid chooses to be something different than a Jedi and a Sith, and all that kind of stuff. And that this movie was supposed to take place years after Last Jedi, like years, like Rey and Kylo would be the masters, like basically they would be the masters this time. And
That would have been cool.
What
And
what to
one
me would have
thing
been
that-
funny? Sorry, go ahead.
like there's a few scenes I enjoy from Rise of Skywalker. Like I loved how, to me, like the Rise of Skywalker opening is my third favorite. I loved how
light
badass
speed
it
jumping.
was. It was a horror movie. We're back on Mustafar. Like, I love that opening scene. It's really good. Is that the
I
best?
love the moonwalk that Kylo Ren does.
My biggest thing with that is that like it's just that respect to Ian, the guy who plays Palpatine.
Ian
It's like,
McDiarmid.
yeah, Ian McDermott. Like it's like anytime I see Ian as Palpatine, it's like, yes, Palpatine, let's go. Yes, it's him. But then you start thinking about like, wait a minute, how did you survive? Oh, you're
Yeah.
not gonna tell us. Okay.
Somehow.
Oh, you're not gonna tell us.
Palpatine survived.
Okay, you survived. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Oh, you have an army. How?
And a
How do you
granddaughter.
how do you have an army? Okay. Oh, Ray is your grand. How? When did you have time to do the
Do the funky
you-
time.
yeah. Oh wait. All of those Star Cruisers have Death Star level weapons. Where did all the resources for this grand army come from? What is happening?
from the ground, because they come from the ground. I think that's enough of an explanation.
No, because it's like if it's like the amount of resources that it should have taken to create those Star Cruisers. It's like somebody would have found Exegol. They would have been like, yo, there's a lot of like precious resources going to this planet. Maybe we
Yeah.
should go check out what's happening.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I really hate it because I thought it would be a really cool opportunity about like, ooh, an ancient Sith planet. Okay, Korriban from the Old Republic, like the ancient Sith world.
Yeah.
No, we have fucking testicle. I mean, Exegol, like
I go to Mexico with my testicle vegetable.
No, we got
Stupid.
testicle. Like what?
like it's
Yeah, it was.
like
That's the worst part of Rise of Skywalker. It's like if you start to really think about things, the whole plot just starts to break entirely, because it's like the plot really needs you to just be like, accept it, just accept that this happened, even though it doesn't make any factual sense. It happens. It's like,
like
okay,
when we first watched Rise of Skywalker, I think it was the four of us, and also BNE plus community, which is just people who are just on whatever. There's more people who watched it with us. Like I watch it and I cried like 4 times. I'm like, oh my god, Daisy.
Bro, I will never let you live this down. Remember in the Rise of Rush sequels when you gave it an 8 out of 10? You gave it an 8 out of 10.
Movie, they did a really good job. And I was crying. I was like, oh my god, this is not the best, but wow. And then I saw it again with Papa Fuente, or whatever the Chilean Mr. 5. I saw it again. I'm like, this is some
it's pretty bad.
shit. Yeah, this is. I saw the cracks, and then I saw the third.
I love how the movie has like 3 fake out deaths. Like
Oh my
the movie,
God,
like
yeah.
it's like oh my god, Chewbacca's dead. Holy shit. 2 minutes later, Chewbacca's alive. And then it's like, C-3PO, I'm going to sacrifice myself
my
and
God.
I will never see you again. 3 minutes, like not even like 10 minutes later, he's like, R2D2, you have a backup of me? It's like, how fucking convenient. And then fucking Ray dies, and then Kylo is like, you're alive. And then Kylo dies. And I'm just like, bro, this movie is
look at what happens. Ray is on the floor like this, right? And then Kylo is just like feeling up on her pregnancy test, seeing if she's okay, right? And she brings it back to like, I'm back. Woo! And then Kylo Ren just ends up going down too. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, no, my biggest thing is, and then I think if we're already here talking about Rise of Skywalker, I think we should talk about the kiss.
Oh yeah, it was said by the fucking directors that was not a kiss out of like romance. That's really a grateful kiss. Yeah, I was like, fuck you.
Talk about a
No.
cop out, man.
You wanna show friendship. You let them let them hug it out. You have them like embrace each other like bro and sis. You don't
Exactly,
do
like how
you don't do a
like how Ray friend zoned Finn at the end, you know, of The Last Jedi. Yeah.
Exactly.
And she has a house for Poe.
Yeah, that was my whole thing is, if you're gonna have them kiss, then why don't you just keep Kylo alive? Like, at this point, like you've committed, and then it's like wow, look, they're committing to the no, he's dead.
Like, it would be cool if they were to branch off like a new series, like Ray would have been like, oh yeah, maybe she did an Arnold Schwarzenegger where like secret family away, and then but she goes back to like the to the public. I thought it'd been a really cool idea where like Kylo and them, if they wanted to keep the Force going, like because they're balanced, But obviously, I don't know if like the actors wanted to keep on going because it sounds like it's
No, unfortunately, the people of the internet can be assholes and everything. Yeah, a lot of people did a lot of crazy shit against Daisy Ridley and others.
Yeah,
Because
we're not.
I hate saying it. I hate saying it, but the Star Wars fandom might be one of the most toxic fandoms out there. Period.
Oh
I
yeah,
hate saying that, but it's bad.
Before the sequel trilogy, I used to think the Kingdom Hearts fan base was the worst, but now no, it's Star Wars fans.
No, listen, I have such hatred for the prequels. You have no fucking idea how much. Oh my god, we're not gonna talk about it. That.
But no, let's not forget one of the things that pissed off most of the fan base for Star Wars.
Ray Skywalker.
Not even that. Something worse than that. For those who don't understand Star Wars lore like we do, is when she got the yellow lightsaber.
I was okay with that.
I was okay with that.
I was not. I was like,
I was disappointed that they didn't that she didn't have like a final battle with the double bladed.
No, you wanna talk about disappointment? You wanna talk about disappointment? Fucking Palpatine, one of the most powerful Sith Lords of all time, dies because he can't keep it in.
Yeah.
He dies because he can't keep it in. He dies because he's just like, oh my god, she's deflecting the lightning. Maybe I should stop shooting. Maybe I should stop shooting the lightning. Maybe I should stop shooting the lightning. I love how she's like, no, bitch, I have to.
And then it's like, he didn't learn the first time because he got that horrible, forced plastic surgery on his face. And then he died from it again the second time.
Yeah, you would think like after that battle with, my boy Samuel L. Windu, like you think he would learn from that mistake,
Samuel L. Windu. Thick boy Windu. No, but yeah, like I how do I say this? Rise of Skywalker is as like, it's when you make every wrong decision when you're writing a movie. It's like when you make like every bad decision as you are writing the script. You're writing the script and you're like, yeah, this is a good idea, and then somebody looks at it and they're like, that doesn't sound like a good idea, and they're like, no, it's a good idea. Just keep going for 140 pages.
But like, here's the weird thing. Like, most of the decisions that JJ did, like I would have been down for like an adventure with Finn, Poe, and Rey, and Chewie, and 3PO
yeah,
and all that,
absolutely.
I would have totally been down for that. But it just felt like every decision that was made was just reactionary to The Last Jedi. It's like this whole movie was tying on what happened previously. But don't get me wrong, that's needed to flow. But it's like it's reactionary. It's like, oh no, remember this in The Last Jedi? No, we're not doing that. We're doing this. Come
Yeah,
back.
like
We get
yeah,
tickets,
like it was like I understand, I do. It's like you set up a story beat, the next director didn't take your story beat and he kind of took it in a new direction that you weren't expecting, and then now you're signed on to do the third movie. It's like that. It's like I let go of your pride, man. Like just continue the story to the best of your ability. Don't, because it's like if you try to just do what you did in the beginning, even though the last fucking movie was like no, it's just gonna come off as so the movie came off as so childish, honestly. Because like the whole movie was basically Disney was like, oh, you remember how Rey was a nobody? No, she's actually like the big somebody. Oh no, you remember how like Finn wasn't as force sensitive? No, he's force sensitive. It's like, can you like stop, please?
yeah.
I hated the line where it's like, I was one of those people who are like, oh no, I like, fan service, like, oh, I like it if like Ray was like Obi-Wan Kenobi's daughter or like Luke's daughter or whatever.
No, I wanted her. I wanted her to be. I really liked the nobody twist.
Yeah, I
I
like it.
really.
I
It
like it
was.
too, but I didn't like how like all of a sudden in Force Awakens it was done right. I like where she's a nobody, but she gets the right training, just like Darth Bane. However, I hated how it was kind of like, the first conversation between Kylo and Ren in Last Jedi, where it's like, you know the truth, you're a nobody. And it's like, oh shit, she is a nobody, because we see that, sequence where she's like by herself in what's that planet with Luke in Last Jedi.
Jakku?
Jakku.
No, not Jakku. That's where Rey gets training from Luke in Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forget.
Which one?
No, it's not
Great.
Crate. No, that's where the final. That's where the final battle took place in Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, not Hoth. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's the creative bullshit. Not the
Yeah.
I
but
like that final battle a lot.
but it's but that
Other than the Finn part, because I was like, oh, okay. Finn literally did like it's like okay, cool. Finn's gonna sacrifice himself to save the Resistance. Okay, I can get behind this. He
Rose
Finn
cock blocks.
literally Finn
Like a-
literally did nothing in
well,
this entire movie.
like a big
He's
problem I have with
wasted.
the big problem I have with the Last Jedi is just a lot of like, oh, it's this. Oh, never mind. Kind of like how Rise of Skywalker was, but I see more examples of Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. The fake out of the death, there was also, I really didn't like Holdo in Last Jedi.
Like I said, the B plot, of Last Jedi made no sense. Like I do not understand why. Like I do like the character of Rose,
Yeah.
but she was just shoehorned into this movie for no reason. And I think that the funniest part about the Last Jedi and that plot is that in the beginning, Leia scolds Poe for being too how do you say
Cavalier.
yeah, being too cavalier with war. It's like you need to stop, wanting to fight all the time, because war isn't only about fighting, it's also about saving the people that you have to save in order to win. And what's the lesson that about in the crate sequence that they're trying to tell you, that like, oh yeah, war is evil and we have to stop war at all costs? It's like, who really would have benefited from that lesson? Poe Dameron. So why didn't Poe and Finn go on this little side adventure where we could have this like really fun,
Bromance.
duo bromance adventure while Rey is learning how to use the Force? It would have been like this really cool thing, but no,
And
they had to create Rose out of nowhere, and I feel bad for the actress.
And I like that idea a lot. And if we can also build on that, I really hated how the whole, that B plot was really awful. I hated um I didn't like the direction of, I hated how Leia was, oh, she's incapacitated, let this new person in. I like the idea of that, but like it's still Princess Leia. I still, I wanted more for her as a general. We saw a brief glimpse of that in Force Awakens. I want to really see her as the head honcho of the resistance. I
No,
wanted
not anymore, unfortunately.
right, but
Rest in
like,
peace,
but like
Carrie
even
Fisher.
when they were able to do that, I hated the direction they went to. And can we talk about how fucking stupid it was, where she was like fucking like across space, and like, oh, this is
Yeah,
how
Oh
it is.
yeah,
yeah, space
yeah.
jam.
It makes sense in the lore, but yeah, that was a very like out there sequence because you have a lot of people don't realize, but like a lot of people who watch Star Wars aren't into the lore. So
Mhm.
when they watch Princess Leia fucking banana, it's like what the fuck?
It also didn't help that unfortunately when she died, all of us in the theater thought, I thought it's still like, oh shit, this is the end of Princess Leia. And then she opened up and it was like, not that. And we're like, wow. The first
I
time
was
I was like,
about to give the movie props for doing such a ballsy move and killing her off this way, because oh my god. And
Well, they
like,
killed General Akbar that way.
yeah, what a bunch of bullshit that was.
that was
Yeah,
bullshit. And I would
yeah.
rather
This
have like
the man
Admiral,
who knows,
I want
the
an
man who
Admiral
knew it was a
Akbar
trap
instead of
died by a
Holdo.
trap.
Yeah, it was a trap.
Ironic.
Instead
Yeah,
of a
but for me, Holdo,
instead of a regular trap with Admiral Akbar, we had a thirst trap for Holdo. I'm just kidding. But it's with Holdo, I just didn't like her. I hated that whole thing. I think it's a waste of time. Why did you have to go all the way from that to all to just all that was
although
awful?
Holdo was responsible for, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful shots in all of Star Wars, which was the the light speed crash. That was beautiful. I was like, oh shit,
It
that's
doesn't
true.
Uh,
it didn't make sense lore wise, but it is beautiful.
It
for a
makes sense lore
while,
wise.
for a while, it did fool me with its
If
beautiful. It's a great shot. It's a great
it makes
shot, but
sense lore wise, man. Think about it. If you're going at light speed, think about that. If you're going at light speed, that means that you are essentially the most powerful object in that moment because
and it
the
does
speed of
make
light
sense
is
within lore because when Han Solo says that in Episode 4, jumping through light speed ain't like dusting crops, boy. One thought you're overshot, you crash into a system, or you land near a deflector shield. It's dangerous. Yeah, and I'm
that's why
glad
they
that they
always
showed that it was dangerous, but at the
that's why
same time,
they always have to chart the course because it's like you could literally just light speed right through an asteroid and
yeah,
that's it. That's the end of that's your comeuppance.
true, true. But at the same time, afterwards, it shows just how comically overpowered the First Order is. Like, can nothing stop this thing? How many resources do these guys have? Even after the freaking
I don't
Star
think
Killer base has been
I don't think
exploded by Poe.
I don't think anybody was ready for I don't think, we look at the past movies where light speed travel has been a thing. Nobody's ever light speed, like suicide bombs somebody. So like, I'm pretty sure when they were watching the shit turn around on them, they were like, she's not thinking what I think she's thinking. Like, it was like,
Yeah,
oh shit.
I
Like,
also
I really like that scene.
I didn't like how did the first order come out of nothing? It looked like the stormtroopers and all that people were done. How did all of a sudden they come back? They didn't.
yeah. If the Republic is the dominant force now, doesn't that mean that the First Order is the rebellion in some way?
But they should explore
Well,
that more because I would have been kind of cool to see
yeah, that
like,
was
oh, the Republic fucked up, and this is why people joined the First Order.
Yeah, that was bad on the Force Awakens because it now they're trying to do this now, with Mandalorian and even Battlefront 2, but did it horribly. I'm not gonna talk
Oh
about
yeah,
Battlefront 2 right now.
I,
Um, th-
yeah.
they,
I like
they did it. They had so much potential for that story mode, and then it was just like, psych. Oh my
I
god.
liked the one thing I do give it credit was that the second mission when the Inferno Squad was trying to they were trying to get there quickly to stop the rebels from like infiltrating the base.
Hmm.
I did like that scene a lot because it made sense. Like, why are these teddy bears in these that and then like these are the Imperial troopers, but now it makes sense. Like, oh, there's a squadron there, but they're too late because they're doing another mission. But yeah, I agree. Like, but besides that, I'm like, oh, this is cool. But it's just a fake out. The marketing was like, you're gonna be this badass commander who is like who was like can is like the Wedge Antilles of the
of the
empire.
Empire.
And then nope, basic oh, evil's bad. Okay, time to turn.
Yeah. Talk about. I think that was the worst subversion of expectations that I've seen in this series. I think.
Yeah,
What?
and the
Wait, which one?
gameplay
Sorry.
was. Oh, we're talking about how we're still talking about Battlefront, the the
Oh,
the,
okay,
the
okay.
Battlefront 2.
EA version. The campaign was just okay. It was all right.
No, my biggest problem with that is like you're literally advertising this game as like play as the Sith,
Yeah.
see how the First Order rose. Not even
Technically, you do, but only
three,
for like the first 3 missions or something.
not even 5 missions into the game. Your character is like, we must fight the Sith. It's like, fuck you.
Can we talk
Yeah,
about
man.
how
Fuck you.
Princess?
Like,
Can we talk about in the game how Princess Leia just goes, "Oh, you murdered a lot of us, but we'll overlook that. You can join our side."
Yeah, there's a
yeah,
whole
it's
lot of
like,
overlooking, man.
yeah,
Like,
no, but the other part is like, wait, you've been part of this, you've been part of the Empire for like a bunch of years. You've probably been like the cause of a bunch of planet cullings and a bunch of mass executions. You're telling me now is the time where you decide this is a bad idea? Like, what? You're Inferno Squad.
her Imperial friend has a much more convincing turn to the light when he gets stuck on a planet with Luke Skywalker.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
throughout
That's
the friend,
that.
they start switching ideologies back and forth. Luke
Yeah,
doesn't even try
Dell.
to change the guy. That's what I like about that part of the campaign. He doesn't try to do anything. It's just like, you don't got to join my side. What matters is what you do with your stuff. But I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. Dell has such a Dell has a much more convincing thing because Luke is like, listen, bro, like it's either you work with me or we die. Like choose your poison.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
Dell starts to, and then even Dell says it in the mission. He's like, I thought that you rebellion folk were savages, and that's what they keep telling us. And he's like, we're not savages. Like what the fuck?
And I wanted more of like the propaganda because obviously the Empire is loosely based off of the Nazis, so it'd been kind of interesting to play into the propaganda side of the Empire. Like, what is the Empire telling the galaxy? I mean, we see that more in the lore, but I would really love to see in the Bad Batch, or I would love to see in future Star Wars shows, is just people who why do they go to the dark side? Obviously, yeah, because they're forced to. But I want to see like
Pun
why.
intended.
Well, we've seen it with the Sith Lords, obviously, but why are like these commanders or all the stuff? The First Order, meaning like why do they go from the rebellion to the back to the First Order? That's what I really want to explore more, and I thought it could be really cool and exciting. I mean, I'm sure there's like entries in the. I haven't read any of the new. Well, besides a few issues of Vader, I haven't really viewed any of the new Marvel, Disney, Star Wars stuff. Like maybe more about Captain Phantasma or not Phantasma. What's her name?
Yeah,
Captain Phasma.
Captain Phasma.
Captain Phasma. I'm sorry to call her Captain.
Andres, did you say Captain Placid?
Captain Phasma was done wholly dirty in Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, man. They did my girl dirty. I can barely remember what.
She was done so dirty. She could have been like a really awesome side villain for that whole trilogy.
Yeah.
The same way Darth Maul could have been the side villain for the prequel trilogy, but let's not talk about that.
Well,
speaking of villains,
I have a personal theory that I think they did that on purpose because they know that fans like, oh, this person looks cool, but I want to know more about it. So they get more comic book sales. That's what I think.
Yeah. Toy sales, comic book sales, mystery boxes. It plays with your curiosity just so you can go and see what's going on.
We could have gotten a prequel trilogy where the side plot could have been this unending rivalry between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, and that would have been wholly amazing.
In a way we kind of did with the Clone Wars, but
yeah, but I can't count the Clone Wars because the Clone Wars came out years after the prequel trilogy. If I'm going to be talking about the prequel trilogy, I'm gonna be talking about the prequel trilogy. The same way that I'm holding the sequel trilogy by itself, I'm not going to be including any kind of supporting pieces and all that kind of stuff that leads into it. No, when I'm talking about like a trilogy, I want to talk about the 3 movies and the story that those 3 movies tell. And it's like, yeah, for me, if Clone Wars didn't exist, the prequel trilogy would really just be like, man, you really suck.
Speaking of the prequel trilogy, I just found out today is Vader's birthday. Today is Hayden Christensen's birthday.
Oh my
Today?
god.
Today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Christian Hayden.
He's literally one day before 420, man. That's sucks.
I know his mom fucked up.
That's
She said
terrible.
on the
I'm
a
just
day
kidding,
before,
I'm just
a day later.
That's terrible. But yeah. Oh my god. Thank you, Dave Filoni, for Clone Wars. Seriously, thank you.
And George
And
Lucas
now
and
one
Jon
thing,
Favreau.
one thing we have not spoken about this entire time. Yes, we talk about the games, talk about the movies, talk about
Is
shows.
your haircut? That was
Damn. Shots fired.
Oh, I'm gonna look at this other screen right here for a few seconds. I'm gonna scroll through my Twitter a little bit.
Wait,
Somebody called the Utah Fire Department. I smell a burn. Holy shit.
Kenobi!
Jesus Christ. What were you gonna say, Ken?
No, but I was gonna say that we have yet to speak about Rebels.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We
I'm,
have yet to speak
Rebels.
about
I'm
Rebels.
currently in the middle of season 2.
Son of
Oh,
a
we can't-
bitch!
we can't really talk about it
God
then, yeah.
damn it!
No, I
I'll
know
say
what
this,
happens though. I know what happens.
Rebels disappointed me so hard.
What? I enjoyed Rebels.
I really don't like Rebels.
The one thing I'll say about Rebels is the art style
Is
for
it-
certain characters, but
Yeah,
the story
yeah.
but the story wise and action wise, I love Rebels.
Oh, I hate Rebels. I
I'm
story
sorry.
wise, action wise, everything.
No, I'm sorry, but the story between Maul, Vader, Ahsoka.
Okay,
all these
no,
characters-
here's the thing. And this is the part that really pisses me off about Rebels. This is the
What?
part that really makes me mad about Rebels. Rebels is like this for me personally, this shit show. But every now and then there's a small ingot of diamond that they're able to put in that shit show. Everything that has to do with Ezra and the main cast, I hate because I hate
Ezra?
Ezra. I hate Ezra.
Why?
He's
Okay,
he's
in
a-
the beginning I can see why.
I hate Ezra all the way.
beginning I
He
see
for
why.
me he's boring. I don't connect with him. The only character in that entire crew that I connect with a little bit is Kanan.
Oh yeah,
He's the only Kanan is the only character, and it's because I feel for him. It's like he witnessed, Order 66 happen. He has a lot of trauma with all of that, and it's kind of like this. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Some planking sessions.
I know.
Excellent.
But to me, to go on Jose's thing, I actually I respectfully disagree in a sense of like the progression of each character in the show is different. It's not the same thing.
Right.
Anyway,
From-
sorry, my father came in.
No,
Oh, sorry, you were talking. Oops.
no, it's very-
Sorry.
on your thing, I kind of like respectfully disagree because in a sense of like every character developed in some sort of way in that show from Ezra being this annoying brass street rat, like kind of like Aladdin, pretty much.
I was thinking.
I don't think Aladdin bitched
kind of like
as much
Aladdin's
as
in a kind of street rat way, street rat way.
Street whack.
Street
Hey
rat.
boy, get this street whack away from me.
but to him maturing and him really sacrificing, well, a lot of shit, for his lifestyle, to actually fight, and since I won't spoil anything, obviously, but you do see a lot of progression and a lot of side shit that happened after Order 66. I do enjoy shit I haven't seen yet, kind of like the future of shit. But the one thing that I do really love about the show is how great the villains are, surprisingly.
The Inquisitors are a welcome change of pace.
They
for
are a
villains.
very good change, but the
Yeah, that's something I really do like.
But the Grand Inquisitor, the very first one you see, of how intimidating that motherfucker is.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
That
And the fact that Maul could take on 3 of these guys at the same time was something entertaining. to watch.
but see, that was fun. And think about it, not only did we get 3,
that was gonna be my point there, is that like the main part of the show I hated. I did not like most of those characters. I didn't like most of the main villains. But whenever the show
Hey,
did
gold.
side content, whenever the show did something that was not with Ezra, Ahsoka and Vader,
Maul and Inquisitor.
Maul's quest for revenge. Whenever the show did side content that it barely took any time for, that's when I was like, oh shit, this is cool, and I want to see more of this. But every single episode would be like, back to Ezra and his annoying little troop story about nothing, and I'm like, fuck, I don't
I
want.
mean,
I want to see more. I want to see more with Maul. I want to see more with Ahsoka. I want to see,
it's not like I
What?
disagree with you, my man.
and
But
also
there
the
are some
Empire.
stories.
The Empire was nerfed in that show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Empire was
I'll give you
nerfed.
there.
They were.
They were Looney Tune villains in that show. Thrall was not a Thrall was you know,
Whoa, okay.
as a person who
I would
read
disagree with you with Maul. I would
as a
disagree with you
person
with
who
Maul.
read the novels and everything about Thrall, and I love him. That show did not do Thrall justice. I'm sorry. That show did not do Thrall any
I
justice.
would especially disagree with you in the like throw again. This is also a somewhat quote unquote kids show in a sense, but if it was more of like, I'm not gonna use that excuse for everything. I'm not gonna say that, but in the sense of like they had to be more kid friendly this show, but yeah, again, still keep that adult nature.
I will agree with you on that, but I will also raise up this point, and that is that Clone Wars was also a kids show, but Clone Wars was not afraid to get into adult territory
Oh no, they were
like
not.
that.
Well,
Like
it took 2 seasons because the first one is very.
that's
kid-
true.
Is
That's
First,
true.
the
That's
first
very
and second
true.
one are
Season 3.
not good. Not good seasons.
Well, no, they have their few moments in the sun. I'll
They
give
have
them
their
that.
moment, but
Yeah, like
overall, I don't agree that they're good seasons.
Yeah, like to me, like when I watch like Clone Wars. 'Cause
Also, I don't know why George Lucas decided to put the episodes out of order. I really hated that. I was like, why? There are
Maybe he was
storylines
trying to
that
be ambitious.
what was
there are
it?
storylines. Wait, what?
No, Andres said
Maybe,
something.
maybe he was trying to be ambitious again.
I don't know, man. But I don't know, man. But that was the word. Like there are literal episodes that start a story in season 1, and you don't get the continuation till like season 4,
Yeah,
and you're just like, why?
Yeah,
and it's not the
Why?
first episode. Like the rookies is like the second or third in the Echo Fives storyline. Like the
Yeah,
first
like
one
for
is like
me,
season 3 opener, which is weird.
yeah, like if anybody watches this podcast and they want to start Clone Wars, please look up the chronological guide for the episodes and watch them that way, please.
yeah. It's
Don't-
like Gallagher's Island, Treasure Island level. Oh,
it's confusing. I hated that, but I don't know, man. Like Rebels didn't do it for me. Rebels was a huge disappointment for me.
Well, let
I
me.
can see how it is a downstep, but that doesn't like as you said, there are diamonds in the rough, but that doesn't mean that Ezra's story was completely bereft of anything quality wise. I mean, like the whole I don't want to spoil anything for Elliot, but the shit that happens with
I
Kanan,
know
at least,
what
that's
happened.
very-
You
I
can.
don't want to spoil it either way. Yeah, because if you reach a penultimate episode and I ruin it for you, I don't want to be the one responsible for it.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I know
that's
Ezra
fair.
becomes a hoe at the end. It's okay.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The only character out of that entire troop that I really liked was Kanan. And Kanan for me was really the only reason I kept watching, because I really wanted to see where they were going to take Kanan and his whole arc, and I liked it. I liked how he was in the beginning. He was a ex Jedi, and then he started kind of relearning the ways and kind of getting past that trauma and all that kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed that.
And to
Ezra
me,
was
to me,
annoying in the
to me,
beginning, and he was annoying in the end.
to me, it was great seeing. Wait, Eddie. So you're in season 2, right? You said.
I'm in the middle of season 2.
I'm not sure if season 2 brought back certain characters. I don't want to spoil anything for you.
I'm not at Maul yet. Vader is someone introduced.
Not Maul. Not Maul. I mean other characters. I mean troopers.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the one with Rex and Wolf, and yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Rebel was showing an older side of these clones seeing how they've lived after Order 66, that to me was great.
Yeah.
And seeing the progression of each one of these troopers at the end of the show, phenomenal to me.
Yeah, I agree. That's the whole side thing that's going on, you know. And there are a lot of side quests that happen in this series, which I love. It's the reason why I keep coming back, and that's why I agree with Jose a little bit. The main stake of this series is the stuff that happens with Ezra, and Ezra isn't as, how do you say, compelling as the other characters are,
Oh, yeah,
except
of course.
again where they introduce something that's so out of this world, balls out crazy with the Force, and I think it's implemented better than the Force diet, if you ask me. I think it's implemented really well, and I think it's a fitting end for the series. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, Elliot, because as I said, penultimate episode, I don't want to spoil it.
And
okay.
why I am very happy. Well, I'm very happy about this show, not only from where the show towards the end, but on the continuation of Ahsoka Tano, the show Ahsoka Tano,
Yeah, man.
where you hear her in Mandalorian saying, "Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?" And all these theories coming out. How is he alive? Is Ezra alive? I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah,
These
I know. We
questions,
might see Ezra in we might see the live action debut of Ezra in the Ahsoka Tano show. That's something that's been rumored.
But
Played
now
by
let me
might be
ask you guys
Shia
this.
LaBeouf.
I hope the guy from Slumdog Millionaire plays him. I can see it now. I can see it right now.
Oh God, for me, actually, who I want as Ezra is the guy who played Aladdin. Surprisingly enough, ironically enough,
The Canadian guy?
the Canadian guy.
Drake.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
that. I can see that. Wait, what? What did he say?
Drake.
Drake. No, but like, yeah, it's like
No, I know who you're talking to. I know who you're talking about.
he looks the part. He can play the part, especially as a more mature, grown up Ezra Miller, but more Ezra. But also, like you said, one part that actually I liked about Rebels was the fact that they brought back one of the best voice actors ever to play Maul, and that's Starkiller from the games.
Sam Witwer.
Yes, Sam Witwer.
And what
Yeah, he was in Clone Wars.
No, he was in Clone Wars too, but they brought him back to play Maul. I'm here like, oh, because in the Clone Wars it was actually Ray Park.
I agree. I
Wait.
agree.
Was it? No.
No. The voice of Maul was Sam Witwer, but the actual motion capture
was
of
Ray
him
Park.
was Ray Park.
Okay,
But that's the only way you could do it because Ray Park was the guy who was doing all the flips in Phantom Menace.
And I'm kind of upset that like they didn't bring him back for Solo. I'm really like, come
Well,
on.
they didn't bring back Ray Park for Solo because in Solo he wasn't doing anything like fight related.
Yeah, he
was
just
No.
stood up.
I
lit
get
up
it.
the lightsaber and then
But when
sat
I heard
back.
Sam Witwer's voice in Solo, I went, oh shit! I lost my mind in that movie theater.
And we need a Maul like movie or show or something because
Dude, I'm telling you.
In my opinion, Rebels did Maul justice, big time.
Maul and Kenobi, if you ask me.
Maul, I'm sorry, that Kenobi Maul scene was.
That was
One of the best scenes.
easily
One of the most
top.
fantastic
I think that's my second favorite moment in the entirety of Rebels.
What's number one?
Oh fucking the part where Ahsoka's running away and then you hear Ahsoka from Vader and you see the eye. I was like,
Whoa.
I was like, man, I wasn't expecting the show to get emotional. Oh shit.
there was an edit online. I forget what it was, but someone edited that scene in particular, where after Ahsoka cuts the helmet off, or the part of the helmet of Vader, you didn't hear Ahsoka. You actually hear the voice actor say Ahsoka. Sometimes like kind of like muffled in a sense, with the voice of a robot, but you hear the actual voice actor for Anakin say Ahsoka. You turn back to Vader, Anakin, and you see him with the blue eye. And the one you have this standstill. If his eye turns red, then you will die. I'm like,
then you will die. I was like, oh shit.
I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm still advocating for Solo 2. Make Solo 2 happen.
Please.
Make Solo 2 happen.
Please, come on.
Make it better.
Yeah, make it better.
Solo,
I agree.
Solo 1 was a masterpiece.
And
Solo
I'm sorry,
1 was a masterpiece.
but I will agree with Jose. Solo was the best Star Wars movie to come out in years.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I
it
don't
was
want to
fun.
sound
Absolutely.
mean to specifically Jose because I know that's your favorite canon character. I think the reason why you like it a lot is because it's Solo.
No, I like it a lot because it is extremely well written, and it is just
Uh,
a very good movie from start to finish. Everything about like I don't understand why people hate this movie. I honestly don't. Like everything about the characters makes sense.
I don't.
Everything like the whole story. It's just
Jose, when I saw Solo with you, we were crying of how the way Chewie
like you like
and
what
Solo
like
were
even
talking. Yes, I can
like
speak a little bit
even
now.
the
Shut up, you. Brrr.
yeah even the part where everything felt natural in that movie. Like
It
even the
did,
part
yeah.
where they first fly it together in the mall when they're in the mall and then he's like you need to prep the thrusters and all this and she's like we definitely do and then Chewie just comes in and starts going like get the fuck out of the way like chick, chick, chick. He's like you can fly this whole time. Like I was like yeah that's Han Solo, that's him, and
I
that's
mean,
definitely Chewie.
I'll give it this. It is better than The Last Jedi and Rogue One, but that's all I can give it. I mean, to me,
No,
Yeah.
for me it's better than the
So,
prequels.
to me, Solo just doesn't gel well. Like, there's this useless character who's pretty much like a '70s like Black Division character that pretty much gets killed off in like 2 minutes into
think
scenes.
Who?
It's the I think it's the wife of Woody
L3?
Harrelson's
Oh
character.
yeah, but that was setting up. But that was just setting up the stakes. That was setting up the stakes of how hard this job was gonna be.
But at the same time, he just gives away the fact that he's gonna be like that he's going to like how do you say like twist on Han Solo too early. Like I pretty much saw it coming that this guy was gonna betray Han Solo. This
Isn't
guy was
Yeah.
gonna
like a part of the Millennium Falcon?
Wait, what?
Didn't they plug out like when she died? They took like a chip from her or something, and they
Oh
plugged her into the
yeah.
Yeah,
Millennium
yeah,
Falcon.
I
yeah.
think
That's why. But that fixes a huge plot hole because it was like, how does the Millennium Falcon have like this very insane accurate data of the galaxy and all that kind of stuff?
I don't
That was a I thought that was a really smart way of plugging of like putting it all together and like oh shit, so makes sense. It used to be a droid, but then they
now look at
implanted it into the
I
Falcon.
think I
I
think we
don't
can
know.
also agree about these three things. Much as we have differences on Solo, I think we can agree on these three things. Childish Gambino as Lando Calrissian was great.
He was good. He was good.
He was good. I think the writing wasn't good for him. I think he was good.
My
I
whole
wasn't a fan of the direction. It was more of
my
like an
whole thing
impression
Yeah, my
than
whole thing for him, was that like the guy who was Alden Ehrenreich, who was playing Han, he was doing his own version of Han, which I
That's what I
really
liked about
liked.
the film. That's what I
I
liked about the
really
film.
liked
I
how
was going to say
Alden
that.
was. He
Uh,
wasn't trying to impersonate Harrison. He was doing his own version of Han, which I really liked.
and
And
he
I
had
thought,
the same
also one thing was
mannerisms.
Gambino was doing a straight impression of I forget his name
Billy
of
D. Williams.
Billy
his
D.
name. Yeah, Billy. Yeah, him.
Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, he
It's
was
like I
doing a
was
straight
okay
impression
with
of it.
it. I was okay with it, but I also like it was kind of forgettable, which is not his fault. It's just it does the job, but it's like I think it's because he did an impression. It's like, oh
I
yeah,
think if Lord and Miller would have stuck through, they could have given him dialogue that would have been much more snappy, much more fun. I don't
Oh,
know.
I
It just
thought.
felt a little bit too rigid, in my
Oh,
opinion.
I thought line wise Lando was exactly I was like, man, who is Lando when he's younger and he doesn't know Han Solo? He's probably an asshole. And yeah, that's what he was. He was an asshole.
And I do appreciate the fact that he does steal the Millennium Falcon when they crash land on that desert planet.
That was one of the best like fuck you moments ever. Like he was like, yeah, we have a private army. Looks to the Millennium. That
And
was like okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm
To
definitely
And I
me,
gonna
also
rewatch
like
that movie actually. So because
And I also like how he wins. I also like how he wins the Millennium Falcon because he wins the Millennium Falcon in a very Han Solo way.
no,
Like
yeah.
he wins it. He wins it playing basically the Star Wars equivalent of poker
Mhm.
and cheating the same way that
Lando's
which
Lando
I
did.
thought was really I thought that was really well. I just think that like Solo is such a well written movie from start to finish and like it does things a little differently because it dares to be insane, which is something that I
It
really
dares to be
always
different.
want.
It dares to
Yeah,
be
it
different.
dares to go insane. It was like a lot of people were like, oh, don't do the Kelso run, please. You can't possibly like come up with the hype for the. I thought they did the Kessel run really well because
Yeah.
I thought that it was like really insane, and I just love the part where he drifts the Millennium Falcon on the rock. He does
Like,
he does the whole spiel. He was like, this next move is dedicated to my boy Bubbles, who died doing this exact move. just
But,
does it.
like,
what's it called? But like, going off what Jose said, something I will always say is like, the person who played Han Solo didn't look like him, didn't really act like him, but he felt like Han Solo.
Oh yeah.
He felt like Solo. You're saying, the Lando Calrissian Solo. The chemistry between Han Solo and Chewie in this one just fit just right.
that was cool.
It fit
cool,
just right, especially their first introduction, where Chewie's about to rip this guy to shreds, and then you see Solo.
That made me shrivel up with cringe like a shrimp. Seriously.
I was happy.
God.
me
I
and
was
Jose
like,
were in
I
the
was
movie
just
theater
like
the first
this
time
this
seeing
whole
it.
time.
I was
Yeah.
happy. Like I thought it was so natural. I was like, of course this guy knows. Of course Han Solo, the luckiest man in the entire galaxy, as we've seen throughout all of the films that he's in, knows just enough Wookiee to get by. Like, of course he does. Like,
When me and Jose saw this for the first time in the movie, remember, we seen this in the movie, we were crying of how funny that scene was. Yes, I can speak a little. No. Yes, I can speak a little. You friggin'. I'm like, oh my god.
yeah, I speak a little now. Let me go, you. Like that was really funny. Like I was really happy with that.
I'm sorry, but I will agree.
I mean,
I will agree on this with one scene. The shower scene was a bit cringe to me.
yeah.
No, I really like that.
Also, it's like, hey, don't drop the soap, Solo. You know what I'm saying?
I really
like.
I really like that scene too because it was like they don't know each other, and Chewie's like obviously Chewie doesn't give a fuck. He's just this big ass fucking strong thing that he just walks in. He's like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Like,
I also
he's like,
here's one thing I will give the movie though. I do like the fact that Solo, more often than any other sequel and post-sequel movie, the comedy comes naturally from the characters instead of doing this whole Marvel awkward pause type of humor that Marvel is known for.
Yes.
I do like that. I do appreciate
I will
that.
because you have to understand that I went into Solo with very bad expectations. I went into Solo thinking that it was not going to be good. I was ready to complete. I went in with the worst mindset for Solo because
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I genuinely believe that nobody could play Solo. Nobody else could play Han Solo except Harrison Ford. I was genuine, and I came out of that movie and I was like, this is my favorite post original trilogy Star Wars film. Holy shit.
I think yes, we could also agree that yes, after seeing this surprise cameo from Darth Maul, we were like,
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, that was great and all, but like, I just love the movie. I just love the movie because I feel like that movie does a good job of explaining the beginning of Han Solo.
No, yeah, agreed.
And I think that obviously the film does have a few things about it that you could change and that you could edit and slightly fix. But I feel like that
his
movie,
last name.
Yeah,
that was really funny.
And
that was
like
funny.
the progression of scenes where he just gets his typical Han Solo equipment, it just felt a little bit formulaic. Like, oh, here's how he got his blaster. Oh, here's him with the Millennium Falcon flying, and like.
But I
was trying to put this into context because, like, okay, Luke knew how to fly his freaking triangle iPod thing in Tatooine, right? Okay. It's established that he's become really pretty much a good pilot himself, and then he knows how to fly an X-wing. Are they similar? Are they different? This is one of the things that I try to keep consistent with the criticism. How do they know how to fly different ships? And I think Solo like brought this to the forefront. How did Han Solo know how to fly the ship that he's never seen before? That's what I'm not sure about.
Well, actually, actually in the beginning of the movie, it's made very apparent that he's very good at using equipment. He's able to hotwire this random streetcar, and he's able to just use it immediately. And remember that he comes from Corellia. That's the planet that he comes from, and the Millennium Falcon is a Corellian YT fighter. So it's a
Didn't his
Corellian.
didn't his father work on the exact same ship, or are
I have
they
no idea.
different fronts of it?
I have no idea what his. I have no idea about like the history of Han Solo, if it's legends or if it's canon. I have no idea at that point. But like, and also there was a deleted scene that I have no idea why they
Took it out?
deleted it. I have no
Which
idea
one?
why they took it out. It
Because
kind of makes
Lord
me
and Miller
mad.
directed it.
No, it was directed. It was directed by Ron Howard, but
Ron Howard.
it was directed by
Two
him,
people
and I
did
just
it.
have. I don't know why they deleted it. You remember the part where right after he tells him, what's your last name, Solo? And then he's like, so how long is it gonna take for me to start flying? He's like, don't worry, kid, we'll have you flying in no time. And then it just cuts to him in war and him getting thrown in like a battlefield. There was a scene that was cut that was supposed to take place in between those two scenes where Han is in the middle of basically a council of like very distinguished Empire pilots who are evaluating, because remember he went to pilot school,
Right.
and he got kicked out for being reckless and not following orders. And that scene was basically the council being like, obviously you're a good pilot, but like you don't follow orders, you're very reckless, and you are highly disrespectful, and you don't respect authority. So we're going to move you to ground forces instead. You've just lost your privilege to fly. And I was like, why did you delete this scene? You know, like this would have put a little bit more of that, knowledge of flying and him being a rebellious little shit more into the audience.
That has Top Gun vibes. I wonder, like that. I like that shit. Why did they delete that scene?
I think the scene is. I think the scene is on YouTube. I think. Let me see really quickly. But I think the scene is. I think it is on YouTube because they shot it and everything, and it was ready.
While you're looking that up, like another thing that I didn't like about Solo was L3. L3 was just an unappetizing type of character, giving my boy Lando blue balls. Like I didn't agree with like her character. It's just like insinuating implications of like how do you and Lando, how does that work? It's just like, oh, it works.
It works.
That was just Star Wars humor being Star Wars humor. Like I think they did it. I think they did it just right because they didn't go a little too hard into it. Like it was just really funny when it was just the two women and then she's like, wait, you actually thought that you and Lando? And she's like, yeah, it works. Don't ask. And it's just like, okay. And you even see like like you even see Emilia Clarke's character like, okay, like this bitch crazy.
I mean, her reaction is all right, but it's just, I don't know. For someone who was supposed to be the navigomputer of the Millennium Falcon, the most powerful computer that can navigate through any star system, you would think the character would be better. But I don't know. I think the whole L3 character was just a ploy. It wasn't really a character. It was a plot device, if you ask me, just to move the plot forward. She didn't even need to be there aside from being integrated into the Millennium Falcon. Just like droid rights, yo. Okay.
I will agree with that. I will, because that is true. L3 definitely was a plot device so that they could get her into the Millennium Falcon and give the Millennium Falcon the computer that it needed. But I'm okay with characters just being there to do something if that something is substantial enough for the plot to move forward. And in that case, they needed the map in order to navigate through the mall. And I was like, yeah, as much as her character doesn't really add up to much, this is enough of we need to do this to survive for me to be like, you know what, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. There was good justification for her not really receiving anything else other than that.
I can see where you're coming from there, but like that all hinges on how big the substantiality of it holds up with you and me. I mean, I personally don't think it's much. You think it's a lot. I think that's where we disagree.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But how about this? How about Dryden Voss? How about this villain right here?
So bring us Vision as a freaking villain for freaking Star Wars.
Okay, Dryden Voss, yes, he didn't really have a lot of character development, but at the same time, Dooku didn't have any character development in the prequels. Grievous in the prequel trilogy was just an excuse to sell toys. Like that was Grievous. Grievous was just so like the marketing team could be like, man, we are gonna make so much money on toys. A droid that can wield lightsabers. Holy shit. Star Wars has had its fair share of not so good villains. And I just, you know what? And I just think that Dryden Voss was a little bit better than there were some moments for me that he actually had some intimidation in terms of like I like when he was sitting like right next to them and putting his hand over their shoulders and being like, yeah, we're friends, right? Don't look at the dead guy. Look at me. Like I like that about him.
Gotcha. But I don't think Dryden Voss had that sense of presence or like. I mean, he kind of.
To be fair though, with Voss,
like Ultron vibes to me. If you like me personally, this is
the irony of that he's fucking Vision.
Yeah, exactly.
The irony.
right. But I don't know.
And his face.
To me, Dooku and Grievous had more stage presence than Dryden Voss did. Dryden Voss just doesn't do anything that memorable, in my opinion. The only thing that I remember him doing is going up against Emilia Clarke's character, and I remember Emilia kicking the shit out of him, and I'm just like,
oh yeah, that was a very fun fight.
I'm just like,
yeah, no, I get that. But what I really loved from the ending of Solo was basically the number one show of how Solo changed, where in the beginning he was this very naive kid who really didn't understand how in over his head he was getting. But then at the end, when he's having the gun standoff with Beckett, and Beckett's just talking shit, and then he just shoots Beckett before Beckett even has a chance of doing anything. And Beckett, even at that moment, is like, son of a bitch, he learned. Like, wow, I didn't expect that you, like, I was like, I thought that was a good way to end Solo's arc, in that, like, he went from being somebody who was a little too trusting, a little too naive, to being somebody who finally understood that you have to get dirty in this universe to survive.
And that, I think, gives off it gives tribute, I think, to the inspiration of Star Wars, old Westerns from the 50s, the 60s,
I agree.
The fact that it ends with just a shootout like this, that's some old John Wayne type of move.
Yeah,
right, I like that shit, Yeah, John Wayne.
It was,
yeah.
And there was a
good ending.
Run, Ray.
It was
it
was I think that what I want from Star Wars is I don't look for complicatedness. I don't look for complicatedness when I watch a Star Wars movie. I want a good story. I want characters that are fun and that I can relate with in the simplest capacity. And I just want a good time. I just want like insane shit to happen. Like Empire Strikes Back is awesome because it's a really simple story if you think about it. It's very simple, but like there's so much craziness that happens. All the characters in that movie are extremely lovable, and that's what really makes the original trilogy sing, is that it doesn't matter if it's simple. It's just that it's done so well that you just can't help but like it. And I think Solo does that. Solo is a movie that is extremely simple in premise. It's literally just a heist movie, but they pull it off so well, and they make you like Solo and Chewie and Beckett and even Emilia Clarke's character, who I thought I was going to hate. I actually ended up liking Kira a lot. I was like, you know what? This bitch can kick ass. I like that. I like a woman who can kick my ass.
I want to see a sequel where Emilia Clarke is going against Han Solo. Two love interests going at it.
Yeah, they ended off on such a great cliffhanger. Kira going to work for Crimson Dawn and Darth Maul, and Han going to work for Jabba. Like I'm like, oh my god, the setup for a sequel is so awesome,
How
and
about
we
like
might not get it.
how about if they get in the middle of a gang war between Jabba and freaking Crimson, and they
That
just
would
so
be
happen to beat each
amazing.
other,
That would be
you know?
amazing because there's so many years in between Solo and Episode 4 that there's just so much shit that you can do there before you even get to
The
I will say this,
sequel.
I wish that we had gotten like a trilogy of Solo films, and then at the last trilogy, like at the very end of the final movie of the Solo trilogy, Han and Chewie go into the Mos Eisley
Uh,
bar, and they sit down and they start talking, and then that's when you and then obviously for Star Wars fans, that's when you know what's about to happen. Like that's like the setup into, you know, the best trilogy
That,
of all time.
that would be so cool. That would be so cool, actually. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
like I was thinking like, man, that would be really cool if they pulled something like that. It would give all Star Wars fans like massive goosebumps.
Yeah, hell, maybe we could see a little bit more of Boba Fett, or hell, maybe even someone from the Clone Wars. Like maybe, um, freaking this blue red eyes black dragon bounty hunter shit. Fuck, what's this
Did
That's
motherfucker
you
funny.
name?
did you just say this blue red eyes black dragon looking shit?
Blue
No, I'm a
eyes
fucking
red,
Yu-Gi-Oh fan, you son of a
blue
bitch.
eyes, blue
Red
blue
eyes
red
a red
eyes.
black dragon.
Okay, can we criticize my freaking description skills later? Just
No,
This is really funny.
I'm not letting you live this
figure out who
down.
this motherfucker is.
Which dragon douche bitch are you talking
I hate to
about?
say it. I hate to say it, but the two anthology films were better than the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
I
I hate
have to agree. No, like
even though I
I can make the argument for the Force
So you
Awakens,
say Rogue
but
One's better than Last Jedi?
slightly better, yeah, like slightly better.
Wait, this is history.
No, wait,
It's
wait, wait.
history.
No, actually,
Damn it.
Rogue One has a really big problem, and that is that the first two acts of the movie don't matter.
Well, that's
yeah,
suck. It's just boring.
The first two acts of that movie don't matter. So yeah, you know what? No, I take that back. I take that back. I still like Last Jedi better than Rogue One. I
Oh,
mean,
You
but
think
Solo
yeah.
over Last
Solo's a better
Jedi.
movie than Last
So
Jedi?
I've always said Solo's a but like I love Solo.
Oh, I
I
didn't know
think
that.
Solo is like peak Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
But
All right, guys, what's going on? I hate to cut my shit off early, but I do need some rest. I've been busy at work,
Yeah.
and I have school tomorrow
yeah,
morning.
man. Yeah,
So
I think this is a good indication to lay off for a little bit, my guys, because
yeah.
I have to recover as well. I have some, believe it or not, I have some homework to do.
oh shit.
I have school in the morning, so I'm like I don't want to miss Foxy Nation or like
I
my
thought school
school.
was over. I thought school was over for you.
It's never over, boy. It's just
Hey, yo, but just know that, dude. We have to have a BNE episode where we're just playing games. We have to. We have to do
No,
it.
we need a BNE episode where we shit on Wonder Woman 1984.
let's go. Let's freaking go. I'm down for shitting on bad movies, man.
I still need to see it. I haven't because I heard bad things.
We
and I'm-
also have to shit on one more thing.
What?
Me. I'm just kidding.
No, not well, yes, you and your pronunciation of blue, red eyes, fucking black dragon.
Wait,
No,
wait. Who is this red flying purple people eater you're talking about?
This bounty hunter from the Clone Wars that nobody was able. Like, it took three
Cad
Jedis to
Bane.
mind trick.
Cad Bane.
Yeah, Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. Yes, I love that guy.
Yeah, he was a great character.
Yeah, imagine him in a solo trilogy movie. You know, him being the main villain. That would have been
Oh my
cool.
You're giving me like so much angst for more. Like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, exactly. But like I was saying, the one thing more like the three things we need to shit on in future episodes is one, obviously Wonder Woman 84. We need to shit on the movie to its absolute certainty. We need to shit on Justice League after the Zack Snyder shit came out.
Oh yeah, we should do a comparison.
We
Let's
have
have
to
a
do
watch
comparison.
party.
I'm about to do that. I'm about doing a fucking watch party for a whole
Why
day.
not
Try
Honest.
next week.
I'm about,
Yo,
just come to my house. We'll fucking do it. If
I'll
possible.
watch from here. I'm flat broke at the moment.
No, yeah, that's you. You're in Utah, but yeah. And number 3, we cannot forget about how shitty Elliot's haircut is right now. So let's just do that.
Elliot's haircut.
Yes, let's roast this ginger fuck.
Is this payback for when he roasted your hair?
Yes,
You
it
look like
is.
Russian.
Fuck off. Let me have this revenge.
I didn't even mean it as a roast. I was like, oh, your haircut. And then now I know that my hair is not what it needs to be. But
Bring back My Little Pony, dude.
no, I'm not. A little more like
Bring back the
Little
rocker
Nephew.
look.
I
You
look
guys
like I look like Ginger Thor's ugly brother,
My guy.
but I had
You look like
long
a fucking-
hair.
Ellie, you look like a fucking ginger, fucking Jeffrey Epstein at this point.
He was
Oh
no
my-
guys, he was Ginger Jesus.
Yeah, Jin
I'm gonna. Ew! Why do I? I'm editing that out. No, that's the BNE cut. No, fuck that.
That's the BNE cut. That's the Whedon
Support
cut.
us, support us on Patreon, and you can see the full uncut version.
I say one little crack about his hair, then I get criticized. Someone, him.
Let's be fair. We've been watching since we met.
Oh,
I'm not.
Since we-
I-
Ellie, since you, me, and Andres and Jose have met, we roasted the entire group on a daily basis.
But
Me
not this
especially, you have
harsh.
me. You have roasted me.
You call me fucking Epstein. I wasn't your haircut.
Let's be fair though. That's
That's
the
not
least.
fair at all.
Let's be fair. The amount of times that y'all have roasted me over
Oh shit, they're making it.
making what?
They're making-
They're making Furiosa.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Mad Max?
Yeah, they're making the prequel.
Dude, that's awesome. I've loved that
Yeah, I
movie
can't
since the day I was born, even though it came out in 2015. But yeah,
Have you seen the originals?
Yes.
yes, the Mel
Okay,
Gibson one, Mel Gibson's ones.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yes.
Because those are awesome.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are fucking amazing, man.
But yeah, let's be fair. The amount of times and the amount of harshness I've been roasted by you fucks over this past couple of years. Ever since I met Andres, this man's been roasting me.
Slow your roll. I barely.
Okay,
roasted
okay,
you, my
you're
guy.
the exception, but everyone else has been like, you know what, Ken, you sound like Pokey the Pig. I'm like, oh fuck you.
I respectfully roasted you.
I don't know. You
Same here.
You respectfully roast me. I know. See, you all respectfully roast me, but there's no limit for my roast. It's like, you know what? Let's bombard this.
I'm just
fucker
coming in
with
like,
this-
I'm just coming in like I am a respectful roaster. You curly-haired fuck.
That's right, you former Cobra Blue dude.
See, I'm
If a
sorry.
plushie was inside out, you'd fit the bill, Jack.
No.
Y'all are something else.
I'm sorry, but I have to admit, Elliot is literally the girl from what's the movie it's called?
Girl?
No, wait.
I thought, were you about to call this guy Regina George?
No.
Lindsay Lohan because she's ginger and he's ginger too.
No. The movie had to do with the mom turning into a bear.
Freaking Mama, I mean Brave.
Brave, yeah. Elliot is literally the main
racist.
character. That is not racist.
It's not
That's
racist.
racist.
That's racist. You can't
Why,
be
'cause the
racist
bear-
towards white people, dummy.
Yeah, or black
Okay,
bears.
Elliot. Okay, Jose, let's be fair. This entire group, no matter who was white, Hispanic, we always make fun of either the same culture or different cultures. We don't give a fuck.
I'm joking.
I know, I'm just saying.
I'm yoking. Yeah.
How do we go from Star Wars to like
Roast.
racial diversity?
Alright. The amount of roast I get on a basis, it literally Jose whooping my ass in Mario Kart on a fucking daily basis. That's literally the equivalent of that.
Are you gonna write that in the mental asylum chapter 3? I'm still waiting on that shit.
I know I've been bombarding shit with life to write something, but yes, I'm currently almost on number 3. I'm about to be chapter 4 now, but the one on number 3, I'm gonna submit it.
Remind me to download Wattpad when you update. When you finally upload that shit again, man. God, you're giving me more blue balls than freaking the L3 gave Lando in Solo.
Oh my god.
Oh, my
But yeah,
face
like,
hurts.
literally, yeah, that's crazy. But oh, Andres, before I forget,
Oh my
I'm not
god.
sure. I'm not sure if I
That's
showed you or not. I'm not sure if I showed you or not. A collection. Oh shit! No one saw that. No one saw that.
Correction, 3 people saw that.
Yeah.
Everybody
And I
saw
was
that.
fucking
You
YouTube
too.
community, but I see that on the fucking post, but fuck my life, but oh, yeah, Andres.
What up? Oh man, another. Where'd you get that? That's my boy right there.
I have my ways, my friend. I have my ways.
Who did you have to sleep with to steal that from?
Look at
You don't
look
wanna
at this. Look at this shit, guys. Look at this shit.
What is
Understand
that?
me.
Dungeons and Dragons, yes, we get it.
Oh my god.
I need you to understand the money that I've been spending. Okay?
It's so big and black. I can't believe.
It's heavy as hell.
Yes, yes, like Kevin Hart's Black Hammer, we get it.
Oh my god.
Shut up. That's
Listen, I don't know
being
how
subtle.
listen, I don't know how you would know that, but
It is a
yeah.
movie reference from I think Ride Along, I think it was.
Yeah. It's a good excuse. It's a good excuse. I suggest you keep it.
Oh fuck off. It really is a reference to that movie.
I'm joking. Oh my lord, you guys are something else.
I
And
don't have
then-
any other nerd collection besides my bases, but everyone's seen that. So, oh, who's that?
That is Miles Morales from the game.
I still
Oh,
haven't played that game.
That's
Me
one of the
neither.
suits he has in the
Still
game,
have
right?
to play. I still have to play Miles Morales, man.
Played it, loved it, and then one more for
Oh,
Andres.
Andres,
What's up?
I don't think you saw.
What I see? Pierre, it's so big and white. Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing is pretty gigantic.
Call it Andre the Giant.
That's like the fucking Tower of Sauron, dude.
Nah.
What the
I
hell?
know. I know
Oh,
it's fucking
speaking
gigantic.
of Sauron, they are making the most high budgeted Game of Thrones, I think prequel or whatever show on HBO Max, way more the budget than Game of Thrones.
You know, I really wish that I really wish that we could do an episode on season 8 and just how fucking
Oh yeah.
ass that
Elliot hasn't seen it
last
yet.
season
Elliot hasn't
was.
seen Game of Thrones yet.
I'm not interested in Game of Thrones.
I'm
It's okay.
already taking. I'm taking notes.
I-
I'm taking
here-
notes.
It's okay. It's okay. Hey, I got you, Elliot. Elliot. We should do a BNE episode where the 3 of us just talk shit about Game of Thrones, and then we'll just tell you how bad it is, so that we'll just see your reactions to it.
That would be genius, man.
All right, I'm down.
Elliot will just be like, wait, so who is this character? And then we'll be like, this character did this, and then he did this, and then Elliot's just like, wait, what? wait, what?
All I can say is dog decapitation. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dog decapitation.
Or better yet, Jose, for you, the red wedding.
Don't remind me how good the show used to be.
Or better yet, the purple wedding.
Don't
Jose,
remind me how good the show used to be.
How many colored weddings are there? There's red.
Oh, trust me,
Is there
you
like
don't
a
want
clear
it.
wedding?
only
watch
red
it,
and
watch it, and you'll find out, my friend. I'm sorry.
only
You
red
know,
and purple.
yeah.
Jose, you look so depressed remembering how good the show was, man. I actually feel.
You need to
bad.
understand, man. Like Elliot, you need to understand. Like Game of Thrones could have been like I'm joking aside, it could have been the best TV show of all time. It had the setup for it. Season 8
AIDS came out, and that ruined the
is
fandom.
the dumpster fire of dumpster fires. If
D&D
you thought
really
the
done
sequel
stuff, yeah.
trilogy, if you thought the sequel trilogy was trash, watch Game of Thrones and then watch season 8, and you'll be like, wow, the sequel trilogy really isn't that bad compared to this.
Yeah, they wanted to give the directors a sequel, a trilogy of Star Wars too, and then they realized how bad season 8 was, and they just revoked that privilege.
Yeah, Disney. Yeah,
What-
Disney was like, oh yeah, we're gonna let you guys write a whole trilogy. Watch it, season 8. So about that trilogy, yeah, you guys aren't gonna write that.
You ain't getting jack, son. No way.
What's crazy is that when Game of Thrones had reference off the books, they were doing phenomenal. The moment the book ran out, they didn't finish the book yet. Like it was in writing. They're like, you know what? Fuck it, our own writing. Next thing you know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like seasons 1 through 4, it was just like season 5, it kind of just plateaued. It was like,
Yeah,
okay,
plateaued,
this
yeah.
is
6,
season
7.
6. Season actually no, you know what? Fuck, season 6 for me was really awesome. The Battle of the Bastards was
Yes.
hype as
Yeah.
fuck. Season 7 took a little bit of a thing, but you know what? It wasn't bad. It was like it could be better,
It
but
was
it's
no
not
nose down.
terrible.
It was like
It wasn't a no. It was like it's going down, but it's okay. Season 8.
Season 8
It was
just
a
kamikaze
nose
bombed on everyone.
off a cliff of quality, man. It was so bad, man.
Season 8 was.
Oh no.
season 8.
I have one word for you for Jose for season 8.
Oh my
Dedicates.
Yeah, Dracarys.
The Dracarys. I'm like,
The bells. The bells. The bells. Daenerys Targaryen. The bells. No,
I
no.
love
One of
I
the
love
one of the
anything
funniest
like
things. One of the funniest things ever was I was rewatching that episode with my friend, right? And I was like, I hate this part so fucking much. I hate this part with a fucking passion, because it makes no sense. The bell's ringing makes no sense. And she's like, oh, he was like, oh, you know why, right? I'm like, why? And he's like, oh, because the bells is like a trauma thing. It's making her remember her past trauma as she was like getting like raped and tortured as a childhood. So it just like and I'm like, wait, are you serious? He's like, no,
That's
I made that
nice.
shit up. This is stupid. He's like, no, I made that shit up. This is dumb. Like,
I don't think anything could have justified the bells, man. The bells was just
that would have been better justification.
What's funny about this entire thing is that Elliot's literally just listening to us talk about this. He's like, and his face like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
yeah.
I know like I know certain characters because like I've heard whatever. Yeah, like I know what the Red Wedding was. I don't know what the Purple Wedding was. It sounds like a sequel to Purple Rain from Prince, but
Oh fuck yeah.
it I don't know. I don't want to watch it now because I
I-
know what
I-
I
I
know.
want you to watch it just so that you can understand us.
Yeah, and all I gotta
it
say
doesn't
is that the most
appeal to me.
badass character in the show, in my opinion,
That's true.
the most badass character in the show, in my opinion, is the fucking midget. I'm not even kidding. I'm not trying to make a joke out of
Peter
it.
Excuse me,
Peter
sir.
Dinklage,
We don't
Peter
say that
Dinklage.
language here.
Peter
It's
Dinklage.
it's
Tyrion Lannister
Tyrion
went
Lannister.
Tyrion Lannister went from being the best character in the show to being the dumbest character in the show in the span of 2
One,
seasons.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
It-
even
it-
Jon Snow escaped the season 8 dumpster
No,
fire.
No,
quality,
he
right?
was hit pretty hard by it. He was hit
Yeah.
really hard by it.
I thought he died, and then he came back.
Yeah, that was the end
You
of
need
season
to
5.
you need to watch to
Liter-
understand why this happened.
Well, you
Yeah,
can tell me.
season-
I'm not really interested in watching it.
Season
You should watch it,
5,
though.
season 5 they kill him, and then like at the beginning of season 6 they were able to revive him.
Long
Yeah.
story. Long story.
There,
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes into it, man. Like,
Long story, bro. Don't worry about it.
But
Yeah,
all right,
he's-
all right, boys. It has been fun, but we should end off the episode here.
Yeah. I
Again,
have to go through you guys.
I'm ending it off. So thank you everyone for listening to this new episode of the podcast.
Dumpster
B&E.
fire.
This dumpster fire of an episode talking about Star Wars and Game of Thrones again. But thank you guys for
And
tuning
someone
in.
called me Jeffrey Epstein because I made fun of
You editing that part out too?
Yes.
But yeah,